So the session is being recorded now. So what we did, in the first hello, let us do a little review. Yeah. So this is computer society and law, and understand ethical concerns relating to information technology activities. We discussed some conflicts of interest for IT professionals, like the accepting the benefits and accepting a gift from a client is conflict of interest. So it should be done professionally to some extent. It's not a case that within an organization any kind of gift is not allowed, but let's say presenting a flower, presenting a small valued gift due to some reason basically, yeah, like completion of some task. It shouldn't be the case that, let's say for example, you are working with your supervisor about your study, yeah, on a project, for example. Then during that period, you cannot present anything, yeah, to him or her. Make sense? Yeah. But if you got the distinction, yeah, or you got a merit, yeah, and if you are leaving, for example, the uni at some point, yeah, and you can definitely present this to the tutor, or the tutor can give it to you, for example, honorary gift, yeah. So there should be a well balanced, the gift things to be done, isn't it? Yeah, and it's not a case that you cannot present something, but obviously you have to present, some kind of, the honorary things, yeah, but under certain limits. Yeah, makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Then what we discussed is using your employee's property for personal advantage. Yeah. So generally it has been, discouraged, yeah, by law, by ethics, that wheresoever your employer is, you are using the, let's say, resources of your, employer. For example, the computer. For example, the, let's say, the car. Yeah. For example, the other, facilities like, let's say, printer. Yeah. And if it is in your use, and no matter, for example, if someone can monitor you or not, if they can see you, that what are you printing, basically, for example, you understand? Yeah. But ethically, it is your responsibility that you should use and properly utilize only for the intended purpose. Yeah, intended purpose for which it is given to you. If you would be doing so, then obviously it would not be good according to the ethics. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Then what we discussed, like using confidential information. So confidential information is, the obviously you would be dealing with many people, yeah, and many people will have their own data, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you like to say something about any example of using personal data?
Like an example of using the personal data to what? Hello?
Yes, yeah. What?
Yeah, I was asking like an example of using personal data to do what exactly? Well, like, I don't know, like personal data could be used to like like to target someone with advertisements, know their pattern of spending, and also like to see their personal life. We target them, like
Yeah.
yeah, and also and also for other malicious stuff like for tracking them, knowing their every move to like hurt them or yeah. But personal data can be used for all those stuff.
Right. Yeah. Like you said that looking into the data like a personal means the main thing is do not disclose that information basically. Obviously,
Yeah.
you will have the access, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like a medical problem, a medical practitioner will have the full information, would require you to give the full information about your problems and everything, but it will only be used for the intended purpose, number one. Then it should not be disclosed to anyone else at any cost. Yeah, and it should be destroyed by particular time, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And there are some exceptions basically governed by the some agencies that we deliberately, yeah, or uh, deliberately or by default allow the some of the organizations, yeah, to get it
Mhm.
disclosed. Can you give me an example where we give the consent the information to be disclosed?
For example, when we visit a website and they make us accept the cookies in order to
Yeah,
use their site.
yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah, the cookies we give them the authentication consent that they can use. And not only this, like when we apply for any loan, when we apply for any credit-based, the product like a bank account, the credit card, or buying anything on the installment. So we do give them the consent to share our financial data. Yeah, our
Yeah.
financial, the activities and everything related with the finance activity. Yeah. So in some cases, we as an employer we have to abide by the law, not to disclose anything, and
Mhm.
due to some exceptions, there is by default sharing of the data, but again that data is going to be shared,
Sorry.
not
Sorry, I'll be right back. Oh. Hello, sir. Hello.
hello, yeah,
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
are you back?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
I'm back.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay.
I can
So what I was trying to say, there's some exceptions, are needed to be created. Yeah. So that's about the using confidential information, then obtaining outside employment, which is called the moonlighting. Yeah. So do you remember we discussed about the moonlighting and then the idea what we did?
Mm, Sorry for moonlighting. I don't quite remember for moonlighting. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So moonlighting is basically that restricting or allowing someone to do any additional job, yeah, after the actual main job.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get the idea what I explained last time? Yeah, Evie?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. Like,
yeah. So can you say something about the moonlighting that we discussed last time?
yeah, sure, I would.
Go ahead, yeah.
So yeah, I was saying that for the moonlighting, it's like when you're working at when someone's working at a company, a big corporation, and in the department in which the person is working in deals with sensitive information, the person cannot be allowed to work in another company because that other company that he might want to work for would be another competitor in the same field, and that would hurt the other company. For example, if they are trying to innovate something and the person working in that company sells that sensitive data, which is going to help them in the market
Yeah,
to another company, that's going to really affect them. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. The sensitive data basically, yeah. So is the main concern that is important, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
not only the sensitive data but even the general data, yeah, rules and
Mm-hmm.
regulation which are the internal, of the organization, yeah, which are not to be disclosed unnecessarily to the public, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the moonlighting policy explains about the situation that who can do what, whether as an employee you can do any additional job somewhere else or not. Yeah. So, but yes, it's not the case that let's say uh, all the jobs have a restriction for not doing a job, but there are lots of jobs, who for whom the people work. They definitely work for different organizations for the same role, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Can you give me an example that someone can work professionally, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say that they would be doing the job for the different organizations?
Like, wait, sir, I don't understand. Like, example on what, like the
Okay,
companies that they might work in.
yeah. Let's say like even someone is full time, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and the company is. I'm talking about the type of the companies, yeah,
Oh, the
the
type of
different
company.
sector. Yeah, some of them, let's say some, don't allow because of the sensitive information. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because the employees can, disclose the secrets of their product or company to someone else. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but there are also certain jobs, yeah, which the employees are independent to do it. Yeah, on
Mm-hmm.
their own. Can you give me an example of such kind of employment?
This mostly would happen in a technology industry.
Where in?
Technology, technology like mobile
Okay.
phone, laptops.
Yeah.
Yeah. manufacturing devices.
For example, will you be able to, explain and give any example?
Like example of the company, I don't quite get it. Like example of the company,
Yeah.
or the companies. For example, Google, Apple, Samsung.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Nvidia, AMD. Those ones, like those are really the top industry leading companies right
Any
now.
real
And
scenario? Any real example?
real example,
Yeah.
for example, Apple.
Yeah.
Apple, like, so for example, like Apple will not allow a full-time worker like that works for them to go work with Samsung. That's impossible because Apple and Samsung are completely strongly in the smartphone industry, and like Samsung has some prime like advantages in its smartphones, and Apple has prime advantages in its smartphones. But if someone was to work in Apple and go work for Samsung, Samsung will be able to know what keeps people to be buying iPhones, and they will use that to our advantage, and they would lead the market in smartphones.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, even though it's not good, that will make Samsung the top in the smartphone industry for a very long time.
Yeah. Let me give you another example. For example, you are the computer engineer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you visit people, on site for the repair or doing some, installation or something like that. Then maybe in the morning you can work for the Dell, and in the evening you can sign a contract for, the HP. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you are a freelancer. Yeah, you can do both. You can do the job with the both companies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but one thing is important. Yeah, that whenever they hire you, then they definitely ask you that, for example, are you working, currently working or intend to work with any other company? If yes, then give the information of your second job. Yeah, make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah. So that needs to be, in the information of the, in their information to the companies, that an individual is a freelance, is working, is also working, the for another company, ABC. And
Mm-hmm.
if you truly inform that yes, that's the, company, then it's fine. Otherwise, if you, let's say, you went to the third employer and you did not update your third job, yeah, then you violated the policy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yes.
example, if you are working for the Dell and you inform the Dell that you are working for HP, yeah, and then, on weekends when you are working for, the third company like Toshiba, yeah, and you did not inform to them, then you violated the law. So that's basically the moonlighting policy. Somehow, some of the employers, strictly not allow, yeah, to do any job. Some of the employers do allow, but with a condition that you need to disclose where do you want to do any job, yeah, and maybe the others, may not bother that where do you work, whether you work somewhere or not, it's not their headache. So three situations, occur in moonlighting. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever the company is asking you to provide the information, you will have to decide that whether you are allowed to do, the rules or not. Yeah. So it was about the, uh, moonlighting, and then something like that. So we discussed last time. Now today, let's move on the LO2. So in LO2, what we will discuss today is the legislations. Yeah. And the legislation is a law, basically, the communications law, the Computer Data Protection Act, and the General Data Protection regulations. Do you remember we discussed the difference between the Data Protection Act and General Data Protection Regulations 2018?
No, I don't. I remember them, but I don't know them extensively. I know they were passed.
Yeah. So the Data Protection Act 2003 was, governed earlier, and then the GDPR 2018 is the new law, EU based. Yeah. So that we will be discussing in detail in the next slides. Yeah. Did you press something, to present?
No, I didn't press something. The interface is behaving very weird. I don't know what's happening.
Something is asking me to present, but no, I'm not going to give you the control now. Yeah.
No,
So
no. I did not request for it.
Oh, that's fine. Maybe it might have mistyped. Any key might have been pressed. Yeah. So it's fine. Yeah. So now let us go through the LO2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let us see what is the legislation in IT. Information Technology Law provides the legal. Can you please confirm the font is okay for you to read?
Huh?
Is the font okay for you to read from the PPT?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. So the legislation law in IT is basically the Information Technology Law. Provides the legal framework for collecting, storing, like you collected, how you can collect, whether you can collect, the easily and voluntarily, maybe forcefully, isn't it? By law, some of the questions, they say that not required by law. Have you seen that kind of information somewhere?
No.
Like, when you would be buying the, a car, yeah, then the documents in the car, like in the UK, some of the optionals, entries are given. They ask the information, name, address, and, the date of birth, yeah, and even the driving license. I'm not sure whether the date of birth or the driving license in front of the entry, they write that not required by the law. Yeah? Do you understand this?
Like you're trying to say that we provide some personal data which is required by law for for some. Okay. Then that I know of.
So what happens that forms include the entry, yeah, and if automatically some of the fields are mandatory, you cannot proceed with the next of the let's say the next options, like you cannot proceed without the name, your address, date of birth. But let's say your ethnicity, yeah, your religion, is being asked, and they write in the bracket, not required by law to answer this question. Yeah, you understand this?
Yes, I understand this.
Okay. So, collecting information, then storing that information, yeah, and disseminating information, like disclosing that information, yeah, for electronically in global marketplace, yeah. So all this basically is the a kind of framework, yeah, of the legislation in IT, which has to be in place in practice, yeah. So some of the known legislations, yeah, in IT, for example, the Data Protection Act. So this law protects people's personal data, yeah. Let me try to make it maximize. This law protects people's personal data stored on computer systems. So, for example, if you are going to the surgery, yeah, surgery, what you call that, to doctor, yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can be hesitant to explain to, to go to any doctor, for example, to explain your medical problems. I don't know that whether you have been how long you have been living in Germany, let's say about the UK, for example, you are other countries, you are from, I think you are from Ghana actually.
Yes.
Yeah. So is there any Data Protection Act enabled or in force?
In Ghana, currently no.
Currently no. And and mostly which kind of law is the court law and other things? I think all should be the British. Most of them should be the British, is it?
Yes. They're mostly British.
They are mostly British, and I think the official language is also a kind of, I think, is it English?
Yes, it's English. Official language of Ghana is English.
Then definitely, there would be the the rules and the Data Protection Act, like related with the personal information. Yeah. So the law protects people's personal stored on computers, and not only on the computers, but I would say that wheresoever they store it, it relates with them. This law stops organization sharing the personal people information. It also says data must be deleted when no longer needed. Organizations must keep people's personal information safe. So we have already discussed this. Yeah. Now Computer Misuse Act. Yeah. Like from the previous the LOs, previous LO, you are not supposed to use your computers of your company for your personal use, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So not only for the personal use, but you need to use it appropriately, so that it should not be harmful for the equipment as well as the organization. Yeah. So according to Computer Misuse Act, under this law, altering other people's data is illegal by creating a virus, for example. So this law makes it illegal for people to gain access to computer system without permission. So when you are hacking someone's data, for example, then you would be violating the Computer Misuse Act. Yeah. So if I say that you are hacking, yeah, then how you would be identified to, let's say, for example, I'm not sure that what is the punishment for doing this, like a Computer Misuse Act 1990, but if it would go into the court, yeah, for trial or anything, yeah, let's say that somebody did the hacking, yeah, then do you think that any of the other criminal law would be applied into the case?
it's most likely. It's most likely like other criminal like charges would be included.
But the the idea behind this is that the judge won't be following the criminal act. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
the judge would need to refer to this act, that if the computer, literally the computer use and misuse is what I would say that is kind of virtual.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you let's say if you injured someone, yeah, then that is the physical attack, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
and it would be witnessed, yeah, as well. But if you injured a computer by hacking, yeah, and literally that's not a any injury, isn't it? A physical injury, but it's a soft injury. Yeah. So it is the legislations defined in advance, yeah, for everything, that if anything happens, then definitely there would be the punishment. Yeah. But what punishment? The punishment should have been described according to certain law or act. So Computer Misuse Act is defining this. So this law makes it illegal to break into the system to commit further crimes, steal money from bank account, for example. Yeah. The next few, the in the next assessment criteria, we would be discussing the some possible consequences of the situation when these laws are not abide by. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me finish this assessment criteria 2.1, which is about the key legislation in the IT. So the second one, the Data Protection Act and the Computer Misuse. The third one is the Copyright Designs and Patents Act 1988. This law relates to people's work, writing, music, images, movies. Can you give me an example of the content available on the internet, on the websites, on the social media, YouTube? Do you have information that what you can do and what you cannot do? Let's say, for example, if I ask you about the YouTube.
For YouTube, what I know of is for YouTube, you can't post someone's video as your own. But if it gets reported that you are using someone's video, you are posting someone's video on your channel without any reference, it will be taken down and be demonetized.
It would be what?
Demonetized.
Okay, I understand what you mean. Yeah. Okay. And apart from this,
I know, and also YouTube also has YouTube has some guidelines, like for like the kind of videos that can be posted on their site.
yeah.
So people cannot just post any kind of video content on YouTube without following the guidelines. Or else if it's noticed that it does not follow the guidelines, then it will be taken down.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Two very good points too. That practically, if you are using someone else, the video and claiming your work, basically. Yeah. You said that it won't, if someone would claim or complain about the copyright, then not only your video would be taken down, but also you won't be able to get the advantage of uploading this. Yeah, like advantage of getting the monetization. So I hope you know very well about what the monetization is it?
Yeah, I know.
Have you tried to create any channel for the monetization?
Oh no. I've not.
Are you planning to make the one?
No, not at all.
Okay, that's fine. Currently, the whole half of the world, maybe not half of the world, but majority of people are trying to be the YouTubers and willing to make some money from the YouTube, isn't it? Is it true?
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
That I've noticed.
Yeah. So, Copyright Design and Patents Act basically defines the guidelines basically. Yeah. And obviously the guidelines for the YouTube are different. Possibly any other organization or the social media may have the different policies, yeah, according to the copyright, isn't it?
Yes.
Like in TikTok, yeah, you know about the TikTok, yeah. So
yeah.
mostly the music is basically taken from the music companies, and people create the videos, and there is no problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And however, if you would be using the music on the YouTube, yeah, from someone else, then even itself the YouTube would let you know that this music is one of the copyright from particular company or person, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what happens that according to the law and guidance, to some extent you can use the content, yeah, because this has been made public. Any music, yeah, which is basically, let's say, in public, you can use it, you can listen it at some extent. If you are using, let's say, in your personal video created, and you have put the music from the good singer, yeah, then you will be fine, yeah. And but you won't be able to get the advantage of monetization or claim to be your work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens at the time when you want to get the advantage of the content, then in written you give a consent, yeah, that this work for which you are claiming the some incentive in the form of monetization or being eligible to be the ads to be displayed on your video, yeah, you basically confirm that it is your own original content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this law, Copyright Designs and Patents, 1988, is a little bit old, but the latest one are further refined by the individual companies. Yeah, that how they proceed. But overall, this law basically relates that someone is working, writing, using images. Yeah, and this law means that people get rewarded for their work. No one else can say it is their work or use it without permission. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So mostly you can get the permission. For example, if you have created a very good video, yeah, and you really want a particular music song for that video, then if you got a permission, if you bought it, yeah, the song, then you can for sure you can monetize as well. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Freedom of Information Act. Do you know something about this?
Freedom of Information. No.
Okay. Basically, this law gives people access to information held by public organizations like hospitals, schools, and police, and other information like government, departments. There are lots of departments like education, like the health, the let's say the law, whatsoever, like a public organizations, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have the right to get any information from them.
Mm.
Did you ever get this chance to know about it?
Actually, I've seen like, for example, on WhatsApp, there's a section where you can request for your data.
Say again, on what?
I said, for example, on WhatsApp,
Yeah.
there's a section that allows you to request for your data,
Okay, request for the data. Which kind of data?
like the data you've produced on WhatsApp, like from text messages to images to videos. Yeah, so like you can request for them and they'll provide it to you.
Oh, you mean the archive, whatever even the copy and the backup of the data?
I don't know exactly, but I've seen it. I've not actually requested for it before. That's what I've seen. That like you can request for the data they have on you from them.
Well, WhatsApp would be the other thing. You are basically okay. Very good. It was a good point. On the WhatsApp, you are saying that you are asking WhatsApp to give your usage of, let's say, whatever you have used, whatever the data you have used, you are asking them. Is it?
Yes, and also like the data they have on you, they have collected over time on you. You can
No.
request for it.
But this is different thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
what is the difference? The difference is that you are not asking your data, but you are asking some organization and the public data basically.
Oh.
Figures, for example, you don't know, you are not, the reading the newspaper, you are not basically watching TV, you can ask the police constable of the area, yeah, that please, sir, give me the information on number of crimes held in, in the area, okay, and how many of the, criminals you have arrested. Okay? Then this is a public information. I think so. Yeah. I don't want to go into the too much detail, but you have the right to know that how much crime is in the area. You can, write to them. Or, for example, how many schools are there in your area? Yeah. Then you can write to the ministry. Yeah. Then they should be able to give you a full detail of the number of schools, the number of children, studying there, yeah, and the population of the area on request, because you have the freedom of information. According to this Freedom of Information Act, you would be able to request to see official information that would otherwise be, kept private. Obviously, many of the things would be some, let's say, what projects they are running, let's say, what planning they are doing. It won't be, your job, to know, but any information which is not harmful for its disclosure, yeah, like something won't be, harmed. There won't be any problem if, let's say, number of schools would be disclosed, yeah, in your area, isn't it? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's about the Freedom of Information Act, and sometimes, we are scared that we don't know, that, for example, there is a council, yeah, and do you have any concept of council in your area, in your country as well?
No, I don't. I'm not aware of any.
No, I mean, what is a council there? Yeah.
A council, as in,
Like, the district.
Oh, district. Oh, yes, we have that, but like, they are not really like the ones in the UK or Germany or outside countries.
Yeah, county. Yeah, county. So, for example, you can go to the county office you can ask them that, for example, how much the development fund is given to you for the area, for example, and how much did you spend in the last year. Okay.
Oh.
Yes, that's the Freedom of Information Act. You might be scared in your country, for example, or in some other countries, even the officials might refuse to give this information, isn't it? Yeah. But here in this, like, if the law is in act, yeah, then we can request this information, and they are supposed to give this. And if they would not follow this Freedom of Information Act, the employees, whosoever they are, for example, if they refuse, then they can be fined for this as well.
Wow.
Yeah?
I was actually not aware of that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good topic for you as well. Yeah, isn't it now?
Yeah.
So the developed countries, yeah, where all these laws are have been introduced, they are active and being followed, and this Freedom of Information Law Act is also very useful whosoever is interested in a kind of public organizations, because the public organization, let's say hospital, school, police, is a public organization, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So even the police officers, they are the public servants, isn't it?
Yes.
They have been paid from the taxes of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you won't be asking them any sensitive information, but definitely you can know some general information about the area, the crimes and other things. So they should be happy to give this information. Yeah. Okay. So next is creative common licensings. These are licenses that tell other people what the owner of the piece of the work will allow you to do with it. These licenses link to the copyright, but they are more specific about permissions. There are 4 types of licensing, from allowing sharing changes to be made to be more restrictive licenses. For example, the softwares that you use. Yeah. So basically that you use a kind of you use the software according to the license, isn't it? Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So anything that you use, yeah, which is not a generic software or anything, yeah, sometimes for example, if it is the Adobe Acrobat Reader, yeah, have you ever tried to install the Adobe Acrobat Reader on your computer?
Yes, I have.
Did it ask ever any key or license key?
Yes, as for the license key.
No, the Acrobat Reader doesn't ask any license key.
Acrobat Reader.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't understand. Adobe. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, I understand. Like, so there are other products, for example, Photoshop, Lighthouse. They ask for the license key, but for the Reader, I think
no license. Yeah, there is no license. Yeah. So this is about the usage of the licensing. Yeah. Now, critically evaluate the implications, the allegations of the legislation for IT activities. Now, if you won't be following this, yeah, abiding by this law, then you would be under the allegations, isn't it? Let's say what can be there. So Communication Act, for example, 2003, according to it, Section 127 includes the abuse of a public electronic system. So if you abuse the system, how you can abuse it? You are submitting inappropriate data or pornographic or threatening content is illegal. So you abused it. Yeah, that's one of the allegation that okay, you have used the pornographic sites, or the your content is threatening to someone, or an individual convicted of a violation under this section shall on judgment be subject to jail for a period of 6 months. Yeah. Computer Misuse Act 1999 criminalizes access or manipulating data stored on a computer device. This was developed after two criminals used password of a BT technician to control the BT infrastructure. So, according to Computer Misuse Act, that act described that it is a criminal activity. Yeah. So that helped the judges to decide the punishment. Yeah. And Data Protection Act. The Parliament of the United Kingdom in 1988 they created the legislation about it, about the Data Protection Act. So basically this act is accepted, approved by the Parliament. Yeah. So it was developed to track the usage of company. This is all about the the old Data Protection Act, and the new one is the GDPR. Yeah, you remember we discussed the difference between the DPA and the GDPR.
Yes.
Yeah. So the GDPR is regarded as the world's best set of data protection regulations. Yeah. Like the Data Protection Act 1988 was helpful for the UK only at that time. Yeah. And the UK was abiding that law. However, GDPR gave a real worldwide exposure. Yeah. And it is currently the GDPR is the superset of the Data Protection Act, and it has basically replaced the Data Protection Act with GDPR. Yeah. Make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Okay. Now, IT organizations not in accordance with the data protection law faces. Now, like I said, that if you won't be, keeping the privacy of the customer, yeah, then you violated the law of the Data Protection Act, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, do you remember in the previous slide, yeah, previous LO, the NHS was fined because they did not destroy the, old equipment, yeah, properly. Some patients' data were, leaked, and they were fined for a big amount of money.
Yes.
Yeah. So these penalties can be fined up to £500,000. Yeah. So, for example, let's say if a company is holding someone, the information of, let's say, customer, yeah, no matter if it is the sensitive information or if it is just the address of an employee. You understand what I mean? For example, you are a very simple, let's say, a telephone company, or let's say mobile phone provider. Yeah. And for example, you are a mobile phone provider, and you know only the name of the person and the address of the person. Yeah. And at some point, if someone asks you about this data, that okay, hello, give me the address of this person. Yeah. And if you did so, then you could be fined up to £500,000. Yes. So that's why, here in many organizations. Yeah, not many, but every organization. If it is a phone company, if it is a bill, if it is a bank account, telephone banking, they don't speak to someone else unless they are permitted. Yeah, and if they are able to validate that whether do you belong to the particular account, or you have been authorized to talk on someone behalf, then you could do, otherwise you can't do. Yeah, then after this law, the health and safety is important. Yeah, and health and safety, especially the display equipment screen training, like that you need to have a proper setting for your computer chair. You need to have a proper that the angle of your display equipment, like your monitor, and the proper lighting environment, proper position of your back pen. If you did not provide this, the display, this is basically called the display equipment screen test. Yeah, this gives you the health and safety concerns related with the usage of IT equipment. If you did not provide this information to your employees, yeah, for example, the case study we are talking about UK Varsity, yeah, then you could failure to do this, you would have the consequences, yeah, and your organization can be fined, you can be banned from continuing the existing business. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the few bits about the usage of the health and safety. Do you understand what I mean about the health and safety, especially the use of IT equipment and proper training to your staff? If you obviously, if you will not, let's say the hazards are there, like the electrical shock can happen, and if you did not follow the law, then it could be dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's important. That law needs to be governed. So here are certain after this quiz, yeah, after this session, can you go through this quiz now, that what we have studied now, for example? Yeah, and you try to give the answers to the blank, to the blanks, yeah, and then see, are you able to say something about it? Obviously the answers are there, yeah, but let's say there are many different laws that state how people should use computers responsibly. One of the laws is the Data Protection Act. This law states that the businesses and the organizations should keep people's data safe and secure.
Yeah. Okay.
The law stops people's data being shared or even stored without the permission. Yeah. So these are the key highlights that you can go through this, and they would be really helpful for you to remember these things. Yeah. Is that fine? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
So any question do you want to ask from LO1 or LO2?
Yeah, so I have no questions. I understand them clearly because they are not really technical, but I understand them.
That's good.
But I just wanted to ask, like, I was just curious, like, why are we starting from Unit 5?
Say again.
Why are we starting from Unit 5 for this course?
Okay, that's good question. Basically, what happens that we in a UK Varsity run these modules in sequence. Yeah, in sequence, like the and students are welcome to join at any time.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So what we have is, we have other students as well who have already completed few of the units. Yeah. And this is the the next unit in the sequence that we are running now, and its recordings and the other students would be are included at the moment. They are not here, yeah, but they are supposed to follow the sequence. That's the reason that we have this unit, and not only in the UK university, but many universities, they run the modules in the sequence, and depending on the student intake, they join it, and whenever the all units would be in the cycle, then automatically everyone would finish by the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything else?
Oh no, not at all.
That's fine. So I see you, on Monday now. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I see you.
And about the timing, like you have a problem in, the work is going on, yeah. So maybe can we, keep the session timing when they go on the lunch time?
Sir, I don't understand. I should come earlier.
Maybe earlier or during their lunch time, because if they will have a lunch time, then there would be no construction work, I think so. And then obviously we can have our lunch time before or early, isn't it?
Oh yeah, sure. I have no problem with that.
Yeah. So please keep in touch and remain, keep on checking email. I might send you a different time, yeah, for the Monday, yeah.
Okay.
And if you would be available, I will be available. Then we would, sort out this, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much, and see you soon, yeah.
See you soon, sir.
Okay.
Bye.
See you. Bye.